Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Ogi, and you're watching About the Book and Stuff, a place where we freely talk about books however we want. In today's video, I'll be doing a review on Sally Rooney's text titled Normal People. I made reference to this text in my previous video, so if you have not watched it already, I hope that you find the time to, watch that. So basically, Sally Rooney is a very interesting author. This is her first work that I'm reading, but she has other books that I would definitely check out because of my experience with Normal People. I had so much fun reading this text and I gave it 5 stars. Now, I didn't just give it 5 stars because of how beautifully this author was able to relay her points. I gave the text 5 stars because of how the text made me feel. I found myself thinking about Marian and Connor, that's the major characters in this text, way after I had finished reading the text, really, because I could relate to them, I could feel their pains, and I could just, see them as people, not just as characters in the text. Don't take my word for it. Just find a way to read this text and, share your experiences and tell me what you think about it. So now that we have that out of the way, let's just go right into the actual review. Basically, this story is a complicated love story between Connor and Marian, and these people were teenagers, and Marian grew up in a very wealthy family where her father was a very wealthy man when he was alive. Her mother was a solicitor, and she has an older brother. Because of her experiences at home, she had this standoffish attitude, and not so many people liked her in her school. As a matter of fact, she did not have any friends. Connor, on the other hand, was somebody that grew up in a house where his mother was a single mother who gave birth to him when she was in her teens, and she dropped out of high school. And actually, Connor's mother was a maid in Marian's mother's house, and that was why their paths usually crossed, apart from when they had to go to school and things like that. In school, they used to pretend that they don't know each other, they don't talk to each other in public, and their lives was pretty separate, really. But whenever they come back home, because Connor has to come to Marian's house to pick his mother after work, they had a sort of a relationship. Now, this relationship was not like the regular relationship where you start hanging out with this guy and the whole world will have to know. As a matter of fact, whenever Connor hangs out with Marian, he specifically tells her not to let people know. Don't tell anybody about this in school, And Marian replies by saying, why would I want to tell anybody? I don't even talk to anybody in school, And that was the kind of relationship they had. Marian was ready to take whatever it is that Connor was, willing to give her. As much as Marian kept on telling herself that she didn't mind if whether or not Connor talks to her in public, it was a problem because she kind of built her world around him. And even in the text, you'd see parts where this author was saying that Connor knew the kind of power that he had on Marian, and he knew that he could literally tell her to jump or hurt herself, and she would do exactly that because of how much she loved and cared about him. And Connor, on the other hand, did not feel that way for Marian. Now, I wouldn't say he didn't feel that way for her. He actually did to an extent, but he was too concerned with what people would say and what his social status would be like if he was caught hanging out or associating with Marian. It got to a point where Connor started inviting Marian to go to his own house, to his mother's house. And whenever she goes there, they would have sex, and he would literally tell her not to tell anybody about it. So he felt comfortable having sex with her, but he wasn't comfortable enough to show the whole world or even his friends that, he liked this girl. Now, I wouldn't say that Marian was a perfect person because she was emotionally unstable. The major problem with Marian was that even though she knew that Connor did not really care for her as much as she cared for him, she built her whole world around him, that when he refused to invite her to the school dance or to go with her to the school dance, she was very, very upset, and they stopped talking. So let's fast forward to a few years later when they met in college. Marian and Connor's situations had already changed drastically. Marian was like the very popular one in school. Everybody wanted her opinion on everything, and Connor was like the socially awkward one because, his fame and his popularity in high school had already died. Nobody knew him in Dublin where they went to college. But one funny thing happened when they actually came face to face. Marian did not even pretend not to know Connor. She made it known that she knew this guy from home, and that they became actual friends. It was then that Connor kind of confessed to her and told her that, see, I liked you a lot, but I was too ashamed and I didn't want people to know. But the funny thing is, people already knew that these guys were hanging out, and the only person that did not know that the whole world knew was Kerner, because he was so caught up in his own world that he failed to realize that the secret that he was trying to hide was not even a secret anymore. So now let's talk about the major themes in this text. So the first theme in this text is the theme of love, and I think this author did a beautiful job in painting how toxic the love between Kerner and Marian was, because as much as they were individuals, I feel that Marian especially lost herself in that relationship, that she was not able to think for herself. Even though she was a very smart person, she was just too invested in the love that that most of the decisions that she took were just not rational decisions. Another theme in this text is the theme of abuse, and this is very obvious. It comes to play in the life of Marian especially. Even though Marian grew up in a home where everything that she ever wanted was provided for her, the one thing that she needed the most was never catered for, and that was love and affection and care from family. This was something that was totally neglected in the upbringing of Marian, and that was why she was emotionally damaged, that she was willing to take anything from anybody. And now you may think that you know everything about this story based on how I am talking about it and based on how I'm about to end this video, but honestly you have no idea how fun and how interesting the twists and turns in this text is. So I beg you, even if you would not read any other text this year, find time to read Normal People by Sally Rooney, because I found the themes really, really interesting. And that was where I got the whole idea of talking about self-esteem, because if you look at the character of Marian especially in this text, you would know that self-esteem is very, very important in a relationship. And I am no relationship expert, I am no relationship coach, but honestly, do not give up your self-respect. Do not give up everything because you love somebody. As much as you're loving somebody, have self-respect, have I don't know how else to explain it, but please read this text and have a lot of fun like I did. So if you have enjoyed this video, because I'm going to end it right here, if you have enjoyed this video, do not forget to like, share, comment, turn on the notification bell so you get notified anytime I post another video. Subscribe guys, and I'll see you guys next week. Mwah.